Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2024. I'm Chris Marshall of the Payne Street team, brought to you by Payne Auto Group Valley-wide and PayneAutoGroup.com, where we have what you want, lo que tú quieras, regardless. And this is another edition of Payne Auto Talk. This week, that's right, kicking off the new year, we have Mr. Andrew Maldonado, the events program coordinator of the Rio Grande Valley Livestock Show and Rodeo in Mercedes, Texas, home of the Payne Auto Group Rodeo Arena. Let's get after it. And here we are today with Mr. Andrew Maldonado from the Rio Grande Valley Livestock Show right here in Mercedes, Texas. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How you been?
I've been all right. Now, we just came out. We're in a new year now.
Yes, kicking off 2024.
Yeah, and we're not really doing a same old thing because the stock show is right around the corner.
No, we're in full gear. We're kicking in full gear. We got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of events before stock show before we get there in 2024.
That's right. We got a couple going.
Yeah, we got a couple going. So we're going to kick that off first, and we're in full swing already preparing for our big 85th stock show.
85 years,
85 years, man. We're going diamond this year. So.
Oh, man. I remember when it was, Ruby, I believe, is the 50 year. That was a bit ago. But, man, we hit 75. It was something else. I'm trying to remember. Man, I've been doing too many stock shows.
This is my second. This is only my second. So I'm not I'm not a historian of it, but I'll tell you what, we're really prepared for 85, and we're going to make it a big one this year. So, yeah, so we're hoping everybody comes out and enjoys a lot of festivities. We got, a lot of stuff added this year, too. Another rodeo night for some bulls are coming in.
Oh, yeah. Everybody always wants to know about the bull riding.
Yeah. We added an extra night this year, and we're going to be televised also this year. So
awesome.
We should be rocking and rolling.
And soon we'll have the big cheese here, Mr. Luis Saldana, on the podcast, and he'll go into all that.
Yeah.
Because you can probably hear in the background, they got vehicles moving out here. They're moving stuff around. Signs are going up. It's going to be jumping. But we've got some stuff coming up in the meantime. And what do we got? We got Monster Jam. What is it?
We have Monster Truck Wars. Monster Jam.
There we go.
Yeah, they're coming to town again. They're, I believe this is their third year already that they're consecutively coming back over here to the Payne Auto Group Arena, and we're going to have some fun, man. We got some big trucks coming. Great show. They got a new show coming that's different from last year, but they got some of the same old trucks that you love. And it's a blast. If you've ever been to one, it's loud.
Yeah, we were there last year. As a matter of fact, in the room right now is our executive officer from Payne Digital, Mr. Pete Lopez, and he's overseeing some of this. I'm thinking he's making sure that I behave because he knows that when I get around stock show, I kind of go nuts. But I'll tell you this: last year, Mr. Lopez was there as well, and we saw. I believe it was the truck called Outlaw. I think he blew his transmission or something, man.
But Outlaw's coming back, and I heard he fixed it.
Yeah, I tell you what, and they had one look like a shark.
Yeah, he's coming. Shark's coming. Dude, Shark Man's coming.
Dude, it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be in full swing, man. And since you've been to one, and for those who haven't, it's just a nonstop show. We got two shows next Saturday. The first show starts at 1:00. We're going to open the gates at 10 a.m. So they also have a pre-pit party. So if you come in earlier, or you buy your VIP passes to come to the pre-pit where you get to go take pictures with the drivers.
Oh, cool.
Take pictures next to their trucks. They give the rides on that big bus truck that they have where you can load up and drive.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's pretty fun. It's a lot of activities before. There's going to be food, drinks, everything going on out here. So it's going to be a great day here.
So Monster Truck Wars is going to be the weekend of January 13th. That's on a Saturday.
Yes.
And is it Saturday and Sunday or just Saturday?
Just Saturday. We got two shows going on that day.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bring the kiddos. Also, bring your hearing protection. If you don't have any hearing protection, I know they always have some there ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got some for sale there. So I know my son experienced it for the first time last year. And, he thought he was pretty cool. Said, I don't need the hearing protection. Until that first truck turned on,
yeah,
they need the hearing protection.
Oh, yeah,
so,
big time.
Yeah. So if you have them at home, you can bring them or purchase them there, too. They'll have them all there for you.
Awesome. And we're going to have some awesome vendors out here as well, too, right?
We're going to have our vendors. We're going to have S&A Grill and Little Caesars open for you. So you'll have plenty of food, plenty of snacks go along for the
And cold beverages for all ages.
Gotta have cold beverages for all ages, sir. If if you're dad and having to take out all the kids, you might need a certain cold beverage to, ease the pain a little bit.
I got you. It's going to be awesome. I wish, man, I'll tell you what, last year I think it was 3 or 4 trucks, and I think one was down for maintenance, but they fixed it real quick, and it was something else.
It's a machine. We get to, of course, see the setup, the behind the scenes, and everything going on there. Those guys know what they're doing. They're ready to rock and roll if something goes wrong, and they have just that pit crew that goes and gets it done. And they make sure that show goes on no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
I can't wait. January 13th, 2 shows. And that's right. I forgot about the school bus. That's right. If you've never ridden in a monster truck, you'll have your chance.
Yes. And it's suitable, I believe, for all ages. I mean, I wouldn't take an infant on there, but I've seen some small kids that get to sit on a lap and have some fun on there. And I'll tell you what, they enjoy it. And, you can purchase the tickets for that in the pit area before the show. And I believe even during the intermission, they have time for you to go ride it. So it's pretty neat.
Nice. And between the shows, how long is that? Like an hour or two?
Yeah.
Between the two?
They're about 3-hour shows. So you got prepared to sit down for a little bit. And so I'd say an hour and a half that goes into the show. They'll take a break, a little intermission, and they come back with the rest of their show. But during that time, you get to go back down, take more pictures. You get to ride the school bus and stuff like that.
Cool. And in between those shows, that gives people plenty of time for them to, or the crews to go back and do maintenance.
Right.
Because man, when they get, the louder y'all are in a crowd, the crazier they get as drivers. And that's why Outlaw got pushed so hard last year. And it was like, ouch.
Yeah, he kind of revved it up. But the crowd gets, much more as that crowd gets into it. It's
oh, man. And be looking for Bimmy. That's right. Our mascot, Bimmy Payne, will be there. Oh. Mr. Lopez showing some action shots from,
there you go.
Was that the Equalizer? Was that which one? Oh, the Sandman. What's that say? Oh, the Equalizer. Yeah, that one was cool. Man, look at that. Oh, man. Children of all ages, indeed. Oh yeah, I mean I'm old school back in the days of like USA One and Bigfoot and Gravedigger and all and all those trucks. Now we've got all these new crews out here, and man, I tell you what, they're putting on a heck of a show, and you are staying busy. And this is going to be your second year here. And Andrew, what is your title here? Because it's like Andrew, it's like you're the guy, the tip of the spear that they send forth. It's like
we have a lot of duties. We carry a lot of weight. We here at the Stock Show, we work really hard together where we cover each other's jobs. My main job is the event programs coordinator. So what people don't realize, what I didn't realize when I took this job, is there's a lot more other than Stock Show in March. We host events. You can have anything from a office party here on the grounds, quinceañera, wedding, up to a concert. We also have our new music pavilion. So my job pretty much is to, if you want to come host something like Monster Trucks, they're coming over here, bringing their program, which is Monster Truck Wars, and we're hosting it for them here at the Payne Arena, which is, my job is to make sure that their contracts are done, taken care of. I also line up our bands for Stock Show and help with that. Our opening bands do all the all the work that goes behind contracts and everything like that, riders or whatever the case may be. And my job is just to make sure it all gets out there and gets on. When you go to Stock Show, we got to make sure all our opening acts, strolling acts, are down to vendors now this year, are good to go for you. So that way it's my job to make sure you as a guest have a great time at the Stock Show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and you've got a lot of experience with this, not just with the red tape and the paperwork, but the on-hand experience, because I believe that you two took your oath and you carried a badge a few years back.
Yeah. I was a police officer for Rainbow Police Department for 20 years, and I got to do that as a previous career. But where I learned how to do this job was we did a lot of nonprofit work in regards to galas and, Christmas toy drives and everything that went into giving back to the community. So that's what kind of helped me get into this kind of avenue. But yeah, I was a police officer for 20 years. Coolest job in the world, man.
Awesome.
I miss it every day. I still hold my reserve license with Raymondville, so I get to go have some fun on the weekends.
Well, shout out to Raymondville PD, y'all out there. Y'all be careful. I mean, especially, and you've worked. We just came out of the holiday season. We're in a new year, so you've definitely worked that Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's shift. And I tell you what, that's a heck of a job to do. I
had a great influence on me. My dad was a retired DPS trooper, and
Whoa.
Yeah, I never got to see him home on Thanksgiving. If we ate with him, he was in uniform, and we opened gifts when Dad can come home and take a quick break. So, you learn the sacrifice pretty quick, but it's worth it in the end, no matter what. You enjoy giving that part of you back to the community. It's, people say, you're never going to get rich being a cop, and nobody cares. Because those true professionals that are out there doing it day after day and no sleep, missing their kids, doing whatever the case may be. And we see it now more where you may not come home that night. And growing up, I never saw that until now, when you become a police officer and you see fellow officers in the valley start getting hurt or getting killed in the line of duty. But those guys and girls really go out there and put it on the line and say, it doesn't matter. I want to serve and I want to do that.
Yeah, and your dad is a DPS trooper. I mean, they're out there sometimes alone in their vehicle on a long stretch of Texas highway.
Oh yeah, those Texas Tan boys, man. They put it out there. They do a lot of work alone in the brush now, especially. They help a lot on the border a lot now. And I've seen a lot of personal friends that are still friends of mine that are troopers that, to me, I was in a small city and I got to do a lot of cool things where your backup was 5 minutes away. These guys, they're waiting 30 minutes for backup, and they still do it. It's a tradition that they uphold. I know I have a lot of respect for DPS just because of the family background that I come from. My dad, my uncle too, is retired from DPS, so I got to see Texas Tan all over my house when growing up. Wow.
So I tell you what, well, thank you very much for serving in that. We do appreciate it. And municipalities, we talk about state troopers and some of the feds, but it's the officers with a badge that see the same community every day.
You get to know them, and you get to kind of become personally involved sometimes when you've been to that house several times, whether it's a domestic violence deal or just problems with the kid. I've had to mentor and talk to a bunch of kids back in the town I grew up in. And sometimes you see them grow up to be success stories. Sometimes you don't. Yeah. But, you go back to, this is why I do it. It's to try to make somebody better, to be a better person. Now, I wasn't a perfect kid. my mom and dad will guarantee you that. But, I was lucky enough to have those influences, like the chief of police that I grew up with in law enforcement. He's still there, Uvaldo Zamora. He was like another dad to me. And, and he mentored me all through my law enforcement career and made sure that I was kept in line. And, to this day, we talk all the time, and he barbecues. He's cooked steaks here for the stock show for last year's Christmas party. Yeah, so he's always looked out for me in that case. So it becomes more of a family deal when you're in that type of unit, I guess you can say.
Cool. And now you're the deputy dog here, getting things at the stock show going on.
Little far from that. I'm kind of I'm blessed to have this job. I really am, to go and see what goes behind the scenes of a stock show, or just monster trucks coming to town, or a concert. It's so many.
Yeah, the revolving door here of events, is wild. Like you said, I mean, private parties, the quinceañeras, who else is going to have monster trucks and stuff in a rodeo arena?
Well, I can tell you this. This morning before you got here, we're helping out. We're setting up our cover girl pageant for stock show, loading up chairs, and now we're getting ready for monster show and a prospect show that day. So the stock show doesn't rest. We keep it going all year round, and it's a good thing,
No joke. And there's another event coming up. I believe it's Smokin on the Rio. That's coming up pretty soon.
Man, big old cook-off. Everybody loves Smokin on the Rio, man. They got a great concert, too. They got a great lineup. They got La Mafia, Randy Rogers coming to town. So that's also a pretty big deal.
That's going to be – and when's that? It's going to be February –
9th and 10th.
9th and 10th. Man, we're like a month away from that.
And right after that, we hit Stock Show March 11th. So.
Good Lord.
It's
never ends.
No, it doesn't. And, we our general manager, Luis Saldana, he does such a great job of making sure that we get together and say, hey, this is good to go for this, and this is good to go for this event, and we still got to prepare for the Big Daddy. Our Super Bowl is what I call it.
Yeah.
And we're just on top of things. It's, like I said, from anything from a vendor that's coming in to make sure you have great food and great stuff, to make sure you have a great shopping area in the exhibit hall, and then the rodeos and the parade. One thing that's real big to me is I'm in charge of is our special kids rodeo, where we reach out to all the special education programs around the valley, invite all the districts, and have them come in free of charge on the first 2 days in the morning, and they get to view the stock show where there's not so much congestion of people, and they get to actually enjoy it because of the special conditions that some need or require, their teachers.
Overstimulation, yeah. Because the things really I notice it starts ramping up around noon.
Right.
Because come on, these agricultural kids in 4-H and FFA, you're taking care of these animals year round. Obviously, you're bathing them, walking them, and the animals are on their own schedule, and the kids are with that too, and the kids need their sleep too, you know.
Yeah, and so that kind of program where now this year with assistance with we're going to have DPS, Border Patrol, Mercedes PD, which a big shout out to them. They have done such a great job in preparing our safety concerns for the stock show and any event that we have. Those guys do a tremendous job. Mercedes Fire Department and EMS, man, thank you so much, because they do wonders to make sure that every event here at the stock show is really safe. But we're going to have them greet them when they come in, and we got some activities for them. And I got to dress up as our mascot last year. Shh, don't tell anybody that I'm the guy with the horse hat on.
I got you.
But, and it really warms your heart just to see what makes them smile, what makes them light up, and just something simple as a hug and a high five just goes a long way with any kid. And it's just pretty cool. I sit back and I think I'm getting paid to do this. It's pretty neat.
I got you. It's, man, so much going on here. And you're in the thick of it too.
Oh yeah. It's a lot, and it's fun, but it does get stressful. Your time's crunched. Yeah, because we deal with so many people. In regards, people think stock show has this huge staff that comes along and just knocks stock show out of the park. No, we rely on all of our volunteers that come in for free, come in and work hard and get everything done, because the main goal out of this is money back to these kids for their scholarships and for them to go to school and continue to promote agriculture and make sure that they, with their animals and that hard work that they put in, that they receive that reward they deserve.
Amen.
Yeah. So that's where all this comes from. It's not a huge staff of people coming in saying, "Oh, let's go make this big so it can for bragging rights." No, this is our bragging right is how much we can give back to those kids every year during stock show and after stock show.
Yeah, because there's a certain number of you that's a core, and then it just kind of goes out from there who's available on staff and availability.
Right.
So
yeah, and we also have our committee
folks.
members, stuff like that, and then we also have a full-blown RV park that we run.
That's right, and that's expanded too, hasn't it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a lot of moving parts that go into stock show.
When do we get to see the helipad? I'm just kidding. I don't know. The helicopter pad.
You know what? I wouldn't put it past my new boss that that's something he may want.
Ooh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'll ask him about that next time.
Yeah, you're going to have to maybe throw that in there. So, and plus we got a big parade coming too.
That's right. The first Saturday is the parade. And for those of you who need to get on the grounds, I recommend you do it right after dawn. Because when the sun is actually in the air, it is difficult to get on the grounds. Trust me, for somebody who runs a booth here, it's tough. So it's around 10 o'clock is when it kicks off, or 9:30, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we'll start lining up at 9, and the actual parade kicks off at 10 o'clock. So this year we're going to try to make it a lot bigger because we're celebrating our 85th, and be prepared. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a blast. I can tell you that.
Awesome. And if you're standing on the grounds over by the exhibit hall, that's where all the floats and everything come through. So if you really want to see them cascade through, that's a great place to be. Just make sure you don't congest the traffic too much.
Yeah. Or go hang out on the streets of city and Mercedes. Go down Texas Avenue and have some fun out there too as well. So all the crowds at it. I was amazed. Last year was my first livestock show rodeo parade to attend.
Oh, yeah.
I've been to the stock show as a kid and came, and I'd never been to the parade. And even though I was being in the parade, helping organize it, I was just awed by how many people go to see this parade.
Oh, they start setting up underneath the overpass like an hour and a half before. Everybody's claiming their space.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the new Stanley Cup got released or something.
Yeah.
Just talking about that.
We're going to have to put some Stanley Cups out there,
That's right.
like a Pokemon to go find it.
What is it? The new color's pink or something like that?
I believe so. I'll have to check with my teenage daughters. They'll put me in the know on that one.
I'll ask mine. Maybe they know.
Yeah. They know it all.
That's of course, just ask them. They'll tell you.
They know every life lesson that goes into it.
God, man. So you're a dad too, and all that kind of jazz. But also, there is something else that you do, and that is you too are a musician.
If you want to call it that, I've had some fun playing music. I play rhythm guitar, and I'm the lead singer of my band, which is Drew and the Dancehall Dreamers. And we've been blessed. We've got to play all the places here in the Valley. Got to go to San Antonio.
Oh man, big time.
Yeah. For about an hour and a half that you're up there. And then
like all that for an hour and a half, 90 minutes.
Then you get off stage and you realize when you're driving yourself home and loading your own gear that you're a cover band. But
well, we pay tribute to our heroes and whatnot. What's now you grew up in Raymondville?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you're hometown boy over there.
Oh yeah, big hometown boy. Raymondville was a place to be back then. It was fun. You can get lost on a back road and hide from doing cops when you're doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing.
Watch out now.
It was an easy life growing up there because everybody knew everybody, and I know a lot of people frown on that, where it's everybody's in your business, and it's not that kind of town.
But this is pre-internet, pre-Google Earth and maps and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't have to worry about my dad finding out a Facebook post.
No joke. Oh man.
Yeah, catch me on a selfie on that one. They were going to do that back in the 90s, so it was pretty easy.
So when did you start? When did you pick up a guitar?
I was 15. My dad was actually working with DPS, and he was in Houston, and he was driving around. He saw a guy. I still have the guitar in my office.
Nice.
Saw a guy in Santa Rosa selling a guitar for $25. Bought it for me. He says, "Here, learn it."
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, well, there's no YouTube back then.
Oh, no. The radio and a cassette recorder to record that stuff.
And so I wasn't that good to learn that way. So I said, I want lessons. So he took me to Cherry John's. I don't know if you remember that place.
Yeah, it's still going in Harlingen. Yeah.
This was back when it was in the old mall in Harlingen.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and actually the guy that taught me guitar is still working there, Johnny, and took some lessons, and then it went from, and you know how that goes when you're learning, play at the barbecue, play in front of my friends. And then your friends say, "Oh, bring your guitar," and you gotta go play there, and you never get paid for it. So,
and barbecue, and food, and maybe a cold brew,
maybe a cold beverage that they give you. So, and then my first gig, if you want to call it that, was at Boot Company Bar in Raymondville, and I told the owner, I said, "Can I just open up for one of your little bands that are playing in front?" And he's like, "Well, you guys show me what you got." And they were having a poker night. So he goes, "Oh, yeah, I said, play us something right now." And I knew the guy personally, so I said, "All right, I'll have my guitar with me." Went, played a couple hours there while they're playing poker, and they started requesting. I knew some of them, and went from there. And then played a lot of nights just for free beer. And
I got you.
And it was fun though. Those are great times. Just you and a guitar.
Yeah, cutting your teeth. Yeah, when it's what's that from Pure Country? If there are no words, there are no songs. So just words and a guitar. Or what is it? 3 chords and the truth.
3 chords and the truth. Yes,
that's
sir.
Right. That's
and
right.
But I look back on those days where we were just having fun. Me and my buddies would go, and they'd go support you or take advantage of you getting free beer. And
I'll load in your amp. Can you give me a beer?
Yeah.
Sure.
And a buddy of mine, we're still great friends. We've been friends since 4th grade. He's like, "Dude, you need to have a band." I was like, "Man, there's no way, dude. Like, I can't do it." And he said, "Just do it." And so I got together with 4 other buddies, and back then there was 4 cops, and we were Drew and the Blue Line Band.
Ah.
Yeah. So and we played the local scene, and there are little shows here and there. And then when I started the other band a few years later, I was kind of more experienced, got some more experienced players, and we got to go everywhere around the valley.
Nice.
Hillbillies.
Yep.
The daddy of them all.
I know.
If you make the stage at Hillbillies, you made it. And, Mel's Honky Tonk was always great to us. And then,
oh, yeah. That's down in Olmito, right?
The old Winks.
Yeah, the old Winks,
they like to call it. Yeah, so where 10-man jam started,
Oh, yeah.
Which we just had here in December. So
that was big. That was a lot of people.
Yeah, that was so cool too. Like just acoustic show. Those artists is coming up, and then hearing songs that they wrote. And
when it stripped down, I think it was John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora of Bon Jovi in 1989 at the MTV Video Music Awards. They had just 2 guitars, and they just played acoustic stuff, and I think that's what kicked off the MTV Unplugged
Really?
thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Just playing at that Video Music Award show. And they said, it'd be great to get these artists and just strip it down to just acoustic instruments. And then we have the unplugged scene. Clapton had his thing. Nirvana. Yeah, yeah. For me, it's like Nirvana. It's like, I was like, oh, they're okay. This grunge music is all right. But hearing them in that format, yeah. And like, I will say my youngest, shout out to my youngest, she's 14 and a half, and she got into playing guitar, and she's like, Dad, I like Nirvana. And I'm like, okay, all right. And I said, you've got to hear the Unplugged album.
Wow.
And she's into it now. But I said, when you hear the regular stuff that comes out on the record, and then you hear an artist stripped down to just the acoustic stuff, it's there's more freedom in it.
Right.
It feels like more freedom, and it's, I guess, organic. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, well, I still owe Columbia House like $12.99 for that CD. So.
Oh, man, Columbia House.
Yeah, a little flashback there for you.
I know. I'm like, call 1-800-257-1234. No CODs.
So Throwback Thursday on you for you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, no, it was cool because one of the guys, and forgive me for forgetting his name, there was 11 different artists out there that night. But he started, of course, these are all these songwriters that are coming up and they're making their own deal. And he started playing Cody Johnson's The Painter, which is his new hit. I was like, wow, he wrote that? Because back then, as you remember, we used to read the
liner
CD
notes.
sleeve.
Yeah, we want to know who's producing, who's doing all this.
Yeah, and you wanted to read everything up to the thank you at the end from the artist, right? Well,
Yeah.
we don't have that now, so you kind of it's kind of a lost deal when finding out who the songwriter was.
Yeah, you got to research it. Like everything is singles now. People just, there's this new song. Oh, what's the rest of the album like? What do you mean?
Yeah, it's an EP now.
Yeah.
It's 4 songs.
Yeah, it's just like, what? But here's an example. When you play, when people say, will you play When You Say Nothing at All? And they go, like Alison Krauss or Keith Whitley. And I go, Paul Overstreet. And they're going, that's not his song. It's like, he wrote it. He did? Yes. Much like when you hear King George go, the King of Broken Hearts, as Jim Lauderdale.
Yeah.
It's.
Well, I mean, if you were to mention Dean Dillon, they'd be like, who? Like, probably like every hit George Strait had. You know, that's that guy.
Yeah. Well, look at the writers for Elton John. Who's it? Oh, crap. I want to say Bernie. I'll be wrong. I'm out of my genre now. Oh my God,
you're going deep. You're going.
I know, I'm stumped. My friends who listen to the podcast are going to go, dude, you failed.
Epic fail on that one, Chris.
I know. Phil, he's probably sitting there going, oh, finally, you stumped yourself. So yeah.
Yeah. But I'm that nerd too that likes to just go into the, that guy wrote this, and
when buddies mention it, and all of a sudden you bring out that factoid, and the aforementioned Phil, we were on a band trip, and he turns to me and he goes, I think you make half of this stuff up. I don't think this is real. He goes, nobody just comes up with this stuff. And it's like, it's just useless trivia. I mean, what was it? Rock and Roll Jeopardy? Mm-hmm. Go look at, they probably have those replays on YouTube. And I'm sitting there watching it. And they have big stars playing. And who is like knocking them down? George Thorogood.
Yeah.
Bad to the bone. He's sitting there naming all this stuff, and I'm going, he's a nerd too,
I mean, but it's so much fun. You can't deny that. Just go into that. I see my kids now that love me, and they just started getting into they're young girls. They're teenage girls.
I got you.
So the Parker McCollums of the world. They're Cody Johnsons, and I love their music too. They're great. Don't get me wrong. I just don't have a crush on them.
I hear that.
Yeah. So, but they know they play the same songs over and over again. I'm like, well, don't you want to know like what was behind the writing on that song?
Yeah, exactly. Or if they mention an artist as a tribute or this influenced me, listen to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it. It's a late night. Or you're at a barbecue and you're with your buddies and you're hanging out and you kick on "What's Going On in Your World" by George Strait. That song will take you back to every heartache you had.
Yep.
And I'm like, those are what you should be listening to if you want to feel some pain.
Yeah, that's no joke.
Yeah. And, it's funny because we had the saying, me and my buddy, that we have whiskey nights.
Yep.
And so when those songs come on, it's a, ooh.
Yeah,
right
ouch.
There. Yeah.
Yeah. Stop twisting the knife.
Yes, it hurts too much.
or B-side night or whiskey night with B-sides. It's like all the songs that didn't make it on the radio. Those are some of the cool ones.
Yeah. Like I think of when Keith Whitley, everybody's Don't Close Your Eyes.
Yeah.
Between an Old Memory and Me, that'll kill you.
And he was a bluegrass guy to start with.
Yeah. And they forget, great voice. You can't replace that voice ever. But he was a talented guitar player. The guy could play anything he wanted.
Yeah.
And people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for his guitars now.
Yeah.
And then I'm such a nerd. I read Lori Morgan's book about them and stuff like that. And it's going to their details of their life and what they went through and everything. It's just like, you think, and I don't know if it's just me, but when I would go to concerts as a kid, they're living the life, and even as a young adult, because I grew up on the Pats and Roger Kragers and Cory Morrows and stuff like that. And man, they got to be living the life, man. They're on stage. They jump off stage, probably get in a limo and they take off. No. They go to the van. They go to their bus. They want to get home on Sunday because they've been out all weekend.
Yeah.
And it's not what we thought it would be,
And it is a job. Mm-hmm. It is a job. I mean, like you deal with scheduling. Mm-hmm. You got to be somewhere, be on time, have your gear, have your clothes, good hygiene, and make sure your coworkers are there too. And especially being a musician, it's somebody you trust.
Right.
And that's, same thing when you're on the force, when you call up for backup or you're rolling with a partner.
Yeah. And that's what's kind of helped me here at the stock show, because I took that work ethic that I got as a police officer where you couldn't afford to not be on time. You had to be on time. That person getting off at 7 a.m. who worked all night, they want to go home.
Yeah,
and you're
their relief. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I didn't get there on time and something happened at 6:59 and I wasn't in my patrol car ready to go, that's my fault that this guy's got to stay another 2 or 3 hours to take a long report and, him being tired on the road home, stuff like that. So I took that and brought it here. And then I got to see that work doesn't stop at 5 at the stock show. Mm-hmm. Nowhere near it. And during stock show, the longest days, you're here at 6 and you're not going home to midnight till we close those gates. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of work ethic helped me transition to something like this, where it's still hard on your body, it's still hard on your mind, but you keep going because you want to see the success of that show to be great for because the people coming are the reason why we do this. Mm-hmm. Those kids that raise those animals all year round to make sure that because they're learning so much from that. We want to make sure their experience here is great. Not including the people that come for the carnival, the rodeo, the music shows, the food. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure we have great food for you, great entertainment and stuff like that. So you have to carry all that over. And I was blessed that I had, a dad to put me straight and law enforcement to keep me in line, especially being young.
Yeah, and I was about to say, a lot of these people here that work, and I don't know if you did you ever participate in stock show in animals and stuff?
No, I never did. I was more into music and sports, but my daughter, when I started working here, said, I want to do that. So now she's showing to go. And,
oh, boy.
Yeah, my little Allison, my little Tasmanian devil, as I've always called her.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say this, I didn't know, I wasn't educated in the world that comes behind this. And I was like, well, sports taught me all my discipline. In less than a year that she's been working at showing, she has gone from, I don't want to get up, to I need to get up and feed that goat.
Yeah.
And I need to make sure I go do this. And I need to take my goat a bath. And I need to do this with my goat. And I need to train with my goat. I saw how much discipline that taught that kid in such a short time. I see the purpose behind the stock show, because giving that, what we give to those kids and what those ag teachers and all those teachers that go into this and all those parents that pour out all that money into making sure these kids have a great animal and a great year, it teaches that kid so much discipline. It helps. I know it in the long run, later when she goes on to college and does this, because now she's like, I either want to be a game warden or an ag teacher.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it was like, wow,
that's heavy.
Yeah. You can't buy that. That's just something the ag teachers and stuff teach. And I I still see the relationships that we have, that some of these ag teachers have with their kids, that they're retired and those kids remember them and they're teaching ag and they're coming. I didn't know that world existed until I started working here. It's pretty neat.
Wow. And it's also the fact of these students and kids are learning about life, because these animals, you know, they probably watch them born, or they pick them right after they're really small and away from their mama, and all of a sudden they have to send them to market, and we all know what that means.
Yeah, don't name them.
That's right. Don't name them, or just know that bacon equals meat candy. Oh yeah,
yes,
yes,
yes.
Bacon goes on everything.
Yeah, you know, and it's part of it teaches you a life lesson, saying goodbye. You know, and learning like, okay, I worked hard for that, and also when it's so competitive.
Oh yeah.
That I think it teaches them a great lesson, because not everybody's getting a trophy.
Yeah, not everybody. Yep.
Not everybody's getting a scholarship. Not everybody's getting money. It's here to compete, and if the harder you work with that animal, the more time and effort you put in to train that animal, and also make sure its body looks the way it's supposed to look, that goes into that, and it's not going to be like, oh, everybody's a winner. It's those persons, the people that worked the hardest and had their animal ready to go. Those are the people who are going to win today. So I think that teaches them a great life lesson as well than what we're not teaching out there.
Yeah, indeed. And that's something that, you can get it in school, but, there's some things outside of the campus, you get to learn those things.
Yeah.
Like that old Jimmy Dickens song, Out Behind the Barn, right? Is where I learned about love.
Yeah, and it's so true. My mom's been a music teacher for 20-something
Whoa,
years.
You serious?
I'm serious. In Lasada, Texas. She teaches music from pre-K to seniors.
Dang, man.
Yeah, so she's it's not a huge band, but she's a band director, and she'll put on a Christmas program with a bunch of kiddos. My 6-year-old son was just in one. So I see what teachers have to go through in just regards to, the red tape, the fine line they got to walk in regards to, but also that, you get, and she's going to kill me if she ever hears this, but get an old school teacher like my mom.
Yeah.
The dedication beyond the classroom that goes into these kids, it's hard to find it. It's just like being a police officer. They do it because they love teaching and they love doing it. I'm sure, just like police officer, there's some bad apples and there's people that do it for a paycheck. I get that, but I still want to believe in a world that there's a lot. 80, 90 something % of those teachers are in it for the kids.
Yeah, they're benevolent. They're there for the purpose.
Yeah,
because they've been there too.
Yeah.
And my mother was the same way. She taught health sciences, so she was a nurse, and she worked at a hospital in the 70s. And she taught at La Jolla for many, many years, and she built many a doctor and nurse and CNAs and PAs and whatever other acronym or label you want to throw at it. And she loved the work. It's what she was meant to do, and she did it.
Yeah, and I'm sure when she was working at hospitals, there were Christmases and stuff that she wasn't around because she was working a 12-hour shift somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that bothered Dad too much. No, but it
doesn't bother mine.
Yeah, man. Well, man, we talked about so much, and we're talking about music. Now, there is a music portion to Payne Auto Talk, and I know you got to get back to work in here. We're just after the lunch hour here by an hour or so. But if I was to play a song here on Payne Auto Talk, what are some of your favorite artists and a song I could do by them that you'd want to hear?
Favorite artists of all, and a lot of it has to do with the music, a lot of it has to do with the life stories. Cory Morrow for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a wild one.
He was.
Yes.
He was. And it's funny, my 6-year-old son, my only boy, the girls I didn't get to name because they're girls. So this one, me and my wife Leslie, her favorite artist was Pat Green. Mm-hmm. Mine's Cory. So we had this big old debate: who's better? Because they came up at the same time.
So you named him Kevin? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Fowler.
Roger Kevin is his name.
Roger Kevin. Oh my God.
So his name's Cory Patrick. And
nice.
Because she also used to be a singer. She went to Nashville back in her day and
really.
Oh yeah, she would. She'll kill me for this, but she
good.
Yeah, I know. She was Allison Page, which another coincidence because my 2 daughters are, I have their mom and my daughter's name before. I never met her, never even heard her album. And when we met, that's my daughter. Her name's Allison Page. She's like, what? And I was like, yeah, that was my name on my album when I was recording in Nashville. It was Allison Page. It was crazy. So weird coincidence, but
wow.
Yeah. So Cory Morrow would be my one. 21 Days.
21 Days on the Road.
Can't go wrong with that one.
Oh, that's a great song.
Mm-hmm. Me and my 6-year-old sing it at the top of our lungs in my truck all the time.
I remember he covered that song, that Del Reeve song, "Looking at the World Through Windshield."
Yes.
I remember that, and that's when he was hitting it hard.
Well, he just re-released that album acoustically.
Oh, great! Another acoustic album I got to listen to.
The whole album.
The whole thing.
The whole album.
Dang.
Yeah. From Texas Time Traveling to Big City Stripper is all. The whole album is acoustic. Him and John Carroll. Yeah. Well, we got to see him this year. I was in Concan, and he just happened to be playing at the House Pasture. So me, my girls, my son, we all got to go see him, and we're just front stage. And I was the only old guy singing every song. But he noticed it, flipped out the in-ears, and, hey, what's your name? I'm like, my name's Andrew. And gave me a shout out, and then we got to talk to him after and signed my son's shirt. And
wild.
And the biggest coincidence about that, and it comes back to the stock show, was before my son was born, which is almost 7 years ago from now, we had made this quilt for him and had all our concert T-shirts that we went to before.
That's cool.
Right? So my wife had posted it on social media. His manager saw it because she had tagged their names or whatever and invited us to meet him here at the stock show when he was playing here that year. So we got to come. They got us passes and everything. We got him. We signed the quilt. Got to meet him at his bus. Took the time to talk with us. Told him the story about Cory's name and stuff like that. And it was a cool experience. Of course, he had settled down.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Would have liked to hang out with him when he was.
Yeah.
Too, but.
Well, I got to open for him right after he was getting out of his wild side, and as musicians, we try to find out who's playing with who, because sometimes the band, they're just as much as a hoot as who's fronting. And I remember sitting there. It was at the Island. I can't remember the name of the joint that they were at, but it was outdoors. And I look at the guitar player.
It was Bahia Mar. I saw you there.
Okay, yeah. And
you were with Texas Heat.
Yeah. And we're there.
I saw you out there.
And I looked over and at the guitar player, and it was JJ Soto, who was a dude. That dude's got some hot licks, man.
He's a beast.
Dude. And I'm sitting there going, JJ, you're not playing with Kevin? He goes, no, man. And I'm like, oh, okay. Oops. He goes, no, it's cool. It's cool. And I can't remember. I think Kevin had a guitar player named Tracy, but it's like trying to get to know the band.
Yeah.
I'm
the same way.
It's like, I geek out on that just as much as everything else.
Well, see, because I remember when you were with Texas Heat, I would follow y'all. Y'all opened up for everybody back then.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Because I saw y'all open up for Jason Aldean at Graham Central Station one year.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that was...
I think it was him, Buddy Jewell, and a couple.
Yeah, Buddy Jewell was... Buddy is like the biggest Dallas Cowboy fan next to David Gilpin, the coach of the Patriots in Mission. I mean, he named his son Landry. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. So, but, and... So I would follow. It was Ryan Baker, right? Was the lead singer? Yeah,
that's
Ryan.
right.
I think he's still doing some acoustic stuff.
Yeah, he's still around doing stuff in Texas or outside Texas.
Yeah,
so he's still doing his thing.
So I remember JJ Soto
Yep.
Was playing with Cory at the time, and I was at that show because y'all were on the little pier.
Oh yeah, it was on that raised deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I had to make sure I get the diction right. Yeah, raised deck.
Yes, there you go. That was a tough one, and so. I remember seeing that, but then a couple years later, because remember, social media wasn't big back then.
No, it was just Facebook had just launched on the college scene.
Yeah, and I think it was still MySpace back then.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was around MySpace. It was still the Facebook.
Facebook, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then a few years later, I was at Cowboys Dance Hall, and I saw JJ playing with Casey Donahue.
Oh,
yeah. So I was like, oh my God, that's JJ Soto, that guitar.
Yeah,
and then John Carroll went back with Cory. So it was pretty neat. It's just, I'm the same way. I nerd out on that too.
Dude, I haven't been to Cowboys. I want to go there so bad. I want to see. Is it still Cowboys Dance Hall?
It's still Cowboys.
I thought it was. It used to be Southwest something.
Far West Rodeo.
Yeah, that's
Far
what
West
it was.
Rodeo, yeah.
And hell, that was in. Oh man, that was. Jason Allen had played down here, and he's like, man, I don't want to drag my amp out of the trailer. And I was like, dude, use mine. It's a 74 Silverface twin reverb. He's like, oh, cool. And he says, yeah. I said, when's your next show? He goes, well, we got the holidays, and then we're going to be at Green Hall the day after Christmas. And he goes, yeah, y'all should come up. I was like, yeah, you want to use my amp? He goes, yeah, bring it. So me and Ryan and Don got in the Suburban, and we drove up there. And we showed up, and it was a who's who. It was Al still playing. I think his name Al playing for Jason on bass. The steel player was Tommy Dedamore from D Records. And then I saw this guy. He had a steel guitar amp. He plugged his fiddle into it. And they said, oh, that's Bobby. And I'm like, Bobby? And he laid his towel on his shoulder. He didn't have the neck rest or the chin rest. He just laid the towel there for the violin. And I told the guys, that's Bobby Flores. That's the guy who plays for Ray Price. And I was like, Mr. Flores, is that you? Hey, how you doing? And I'm just like melting. It's a miracle I wasn't screaming like a girl at the Beatles, you know? Mm-hmm. And I said, would you sing Soft Rain? He goes, oh, sure. And Tommy Dedamore on steel guitar goes, oh, Bobby, would you mind? I want to hear my rig. Oh, sure. Tommy gets up and walks to the back, and Bobby Flores sits down and starts playing steel. And I'm just going, this guy does it all. This is awesome. And I told Jason, I was like, yeah, I brought my amp. He goes, dude, I was joking. I was like, I wasn't. So we got to stand like just off, to the side. They weren't on the stage. They were by the bar area, like facing the stage. And there's plenty of people there, but we just got to stand there and just be surrounded by this. And I was just melting, man, just melting. And that's what's so cool about our heroes on the road.
Oh yeah. Well, plus you're at Green Hall.
Yeah, dude.
All cash bar, no AC, open the windows.
Oh, it was cold. I had my Carhartt on. Have you been to Schrader Hall?
It closed, but I've been.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I went there
Goliad?
once. Yeah.
Or near Goliad.
Yeah, it's like Victoria Goliad. Yeah, Schrader Hall. I went there and they had a polka band. Mm-hmm. Oh, dude. Yeah, the beverage just flowed that night. It's like, I'm like, yeah.
My wife grew up in Edna. So we were Yoakum, all that stuff. It's big polka influence, and she had when her band was over there. It was in Victoria. Rhythm of the Road, I think, is what they were called.
Rhythm of the Road.
Yeah. So they were a big time band, and she played Schrader Hall numerous times.
Rhythm of the Road. That sounds so familiar. It's kind of like I'm gonna have to use my words correctly. The Mother Truckers. Did you ever see that?
Yes.
That guitar. It was a husband and wife. She played a ukulele. God, that's the one word I can't say besides Westlaco. But she played a uke, and he looked like a skater punk. Mm-hmm. He had like baggy jeans, and he had the white undershirt on, a trucker hat sideways. He had his electric guitar plugged into one pedal on the floor, plugged it into an old amp, and he made so many sounds. Yeah. And I'm at the Continental Club. I was with shout out to Jason Ellsworth. I was up there with Ellsworth, and I'm
another great fiddle player.
Oh yeah,
good God, that guy's
and a great songwriter too.
Yes, he's awesome.
And we're there, and that's where we saw who was it? Red Volkart. He played for Merle Haggard, and Ellsworth's like, "Hey, buddy, I'm going to take you up here. We're going to meet some people." And then you got to see Eric Hokanen. That guy is great. He's a fiddle player. We call him the Mad Scientist. He walks in to the Continental, and he's got on white pants, a Hawaiian shirt, black frame Oakleys with yellow lenses.
Rock on.
And he starts playing a mandolin, breaks the strings. He goes, well, I guess I'm going to go ahead and pull out the old violin here. And he pulls out this old French fiddle he's had. It's like a 200-year-old instrument. And he just starts sawing on that thing. And then there was the lovely Miss Alana James on fiddle. She plays very nice, and she's very easy on the eyes.
Yes,
and
I'm great.
And I'm sitting here at the Continental Club in Austin, and I'm telling Ellsworth, what did you get me into? And he goes, that's Red Volkart. And then when he came in, they go, oh, there's Red. He was wearing a Thin Lizzy shirt. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He's like, how you doing, young man? I'm like, I'm doing fine, sir. Dude, he's cool. Dude, and I got to see, you listen to I know we have terrestrial radio here in the Valley. Shout out to FM 100.3% Country KTEX.
Oh, but also JoJo in the house.
That's right. And also Frankie D.
Frankie D.
And But on Sirius XM on the Outlaw, you hear, there's Dallas Wayne. Well, the last time I saw Red, and fortunately my dad got to see, what was going on. It's like, we're here seeing Red Volkart. He got to see him live. And the bass player, I'm going, that's Dallas Wayne. They go, who? I said, trust me. He goes, hi, everybody, I'm Dallas Wayne. I'm like, that's him? I was like, God. Oh, but we gotta go to some places, man.
Yes. Let me ask you a question real quick. I know we're running short on time.
No, go for it.
How was it? Because I got to have whiskey with the guy before his show. I got to have some Jameson.
Here it comes.
How was it? Playing with not only opening, but you jumped on stage with Dale Watson, man. How was that? And he called you up. I saw that.
Yeah, there was a third time meeting Dale, and we exchanged pleasantries. And it was his Live in London album is to the guys like Shots. And of course, Mike Jackman.
Mm-hmm.
We share him.
We share Mike all the time.
We share Mike, and plays bass and drums and guitar and all sorts of stuff. And the rest of the boys in the band, it's like, this is Dale Watson Live in London, and it's a small gig in London, and they recorded there. And Ricky Davis on steel guitar, and got to meet him down here at the. Ma got drunk and Dad got
Robert
drunk.
O'Keefe.
Robert O'Keefe, thank you. Robert O'Keefe Christmas party of 2004. And then when I was married, went and saw him up in at the Broken Spoke.
Oh, God,
and it was great. He does a thing called the New Year's Eve.
Ooh.
So he was actually in Gonzales, Texas, here on the 30th of December, but he usually does the New Year's Eve. And then I wasn't having the best day, and I got a call. And I hear, hey, there's a slot. You and the boys are going to be playing at the stock show. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Who is it? It's Dale Watson. And all of a sudden, Chris, are you there? And I'm going, yeah, I'm here. I got to call Pete. It's like, I called the drummer and I said, I was having a bad day and now I don't know how to feel. He goes, what? And I said, dude, we're opening for Dale at the city. He's like, what? And I'm like, I know. And I'm like, he's excited. I was emotional. And this is like meeting the guy. And meeting Dale again was awesome. And I think everybody in production, of course, y'all included. And I said, we play a song or two yours. And, your Live in London album is just an influence. And then he was, we were in, the band is there. We're sitting there. We opened. He's up on stage and we're watching him. So it's like classes in session, boys and girls. Here we go. And all of a sudden, I think Mike hit me on my arm. And I'm like, what? He goes, he's saying your name. I'm like, oh. And Mike's like, get your butt up on the stage. He's calling for you. I'm like, what? So I went up there, and all of a sudden, I come off stage. I'm like, oh, wow, that was really interesting. And the guys are going, dude, you're up there with the man, dude. Yeah. And I'm just, it was a moment. And it's that when you feel, not the hairs on the back of your neck, but you can feel the whiskers and bristly hairs in your ears. It's like, wow, I just did that. And Dale had a great crew with him. Pete got along with his drummer very well because they both like certain types of drums. Yeah. But it's...
Well, one of his guys is a ex-Austin PD, he was telling me.
Was it the bass player?
Guy with all the tattoos. Forgot his name. Forgot what he played.
Oh, that was the drummer.
The drummer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's right.
And I can't remember his steel player to save me, but the bass player, shout out to him, much like in, what was that movie with Tom Hanks, That Thing You Do?
Yeah.
It's like the TB player, the bass player.
No.
Where's the bass player? But his bass player, I believe, was playing for Asleep at the Wheel. And so I was like, oh my God, so it was a total geek out. When we get to meet these people and be around them, and I know a lot of people that, to be in their aura. But it's like these songs that they do, and just to share, just for them to take time to share a moment with us.
Yeah,
it does mean a lot. I mean, we're at an age where I shared the world with Elvis for a brief time, So yeah, I was
I
around.
didn't.
Okay, I was around 6 to 7 months before he got in the UFO and departed.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
So
He'll be back. He'll be back.
Yeah, I was about to say, if we watch these Senate committee hearings, we'll see.
Yes,
we'll see when
exactly.
hey man, I got a peanut butter banana sandwich here. I'm back, baby. Do the remaster,
Yeah.
Elvis.
Well, see, when because I got to meet Dale, before he got set up and everything out here, and he said, "Man, really go for Jameson's.
Oh yeah, a little cocktail.
I think I could help you out here."
Yeah,
right?
no joke.
I got to have one with him. Then say, "Hey, man, well, I have a guitar that I have here," and I said, "I'm going to keep it here. When people I want to sign it that play here, I'll get it signed. Whether they're cool or plays." Say, will you sign my guitar? I was like, oh. So earlier, Rick Trevino had played on. I opened it for Rick, and I got him to sign it because I loved his music back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, whose signature is that? I was like, oh, it's Rick Trevino's. He played here the other day. He's like, so he signed it right over it.
Ray Benson signed one of my guitars, and when I opened for Marty, I said, "Hey, would you sign it?" He goes, "Who signed that?" I said, "Ray Benson from Sleep at the Wheel." He goes, "Well, I'm gonna sign over it." And I went, "Oh!" And he goes, "I'm just kidding." Yeah. I mean, dude, I almost died. I was like, "Oh, please no!"
But he was so cool. Dale was that he picked up the guitar and just started playing some songs in here, pretty much right where you're sitting.
Yeah,
and just started playing some songs for the people that were in here. They came to do the meet and greet for him, and just jammed out and hung out and just had a good time. The guy was just down to earth, fun, cool.
He's a real deal. And he used to drive a truck for
like
Big
Elvis
Red
and
Bottling.
Johnny Cash had a baby, and out came Dale Watson.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
He's got the greatest hair. I mean, you can't deny that.
Dude. And he had one of his guitars, one of his best guitars, his Tompkins guitars that were built in Australia, got stolen from him. And I remember seeing that on Facebook. So I was like sharing it with people, and I said, "Hey, did you ever recover your guitar?" He goes, "No." And I was like, I know it's like to have your number one guitar stolen. I know that feeling. It sucks. Yeah. It does. But I asked him, I said, "Would you sign 2 of my guitars?" And those were, the one I called Little Red. That one was a Father's Day gift from my mother. It was an orphan. Somebody. It was a used guitar at Guitar Center, and I guess the word got out, and Mama picked it up and gifted it to me in Father's Day of 2010, I believe, and it became my main guitar on stage. So I got him to sign that, and then my other guitar, which I call Number One, that was the one I started my career with, and that was my '98 USA Telecaster, and my late friend Kirk Allen Jones gifted that to me, and he was a rocker by trade, but he goes, "Yeah, you're doing this country thing. Yeah, I guess you're gonna need a country guitar." And I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." So I got that from him, and so Dale signed both of those.
That's
so,
cool.
Yay! So yeah,
you had your moment.
Oh, I definitely did. So, and anytime you see that red guitar, it's cool. And but it's nice. You know how it feels, man. I mean, you know how it feels. It's something else. For those of you out there who are in the crowd, when we're up there and we're on a microphone, and even though we're just guys from down here, we're just like you. We put our pants on one leg at a time. But we do enjoy playing for y'all.
Yeah. People don't. What I didn't realize when I started playing on a stage and people actually started going, when you're not playing, you're just your buddies. Yeah. And when because to me, I'm a cover band, right? So I don't play a lot of originals. And down here in the Valley, you better be playing something they can dance to. That's right. Or they're going to leave.
That is correct.
And you're not going to get invited back to Hillbillies or Mel's Honky Tonk.
That is correct.
So you got to have your shuffles and your 2-steps on.
2-step, shuffle, waltz, polka, cha-cha.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And but when you're up there, and even though you're singing somebody else's songs, and you're and they're not there because you wrote it, they're not there because you performed it or recorded it. They're there because you're playing it well enough that they can go out there and dance and they have a good time. And then when they interact with you and have that fun, you're not making a lot of money at this level.
Yeah.
You're not doing it for the money. You're doing it because you love to be at a bar 3 hours before doing sound check, playing your 3 hour. People don't realize that you're up there for an hour without a restroom break, without. If a string pops, you don't have roadies to come and do this stuff for you.
It's like you better have your second guitar ready to go.
Exactly. You pay anybody when artists talk about playing the honky tonks and paying their dues. Those are actual dues getting paid because those are long nights.
Yeah.
And especially if you're taking your own gear.
Yeah, you're investing in your own gear. You're maintaining your own gear. For Christmas, I gifted myself a soldering station. It's a really nice soldering deal. So I told the boys, I got a soldering station. Hey, and I'm the one with the cable tester. And they're like, hey, can you fix my cables? Sure. I mean, it's like I get zen, you know?
Yeah, it got to the point where, for me, I was like, you know what? My back hurts at the end of a night, or people want to talk and people want to have a drink with you and people want, for some reason want a picture with you. And I'm like, I'm only playing at places that are plug and play because I'm not dealing with this stuff. People don't realize it's a lot to put on to go play at your wedding. It's not cheap for us. It's not easy for us. It's a lot of work. But it's the best thing when you can take that, God-given talent that you got. And I always say where it's like, I'm not a great singer, but I'll sell a lot of beer doing it. You know?
Exactly.
And take that and get to meet your heroes that you bought their CDs, that even their cassette tapes. 'Cause I go back to that.
Oh yeah.
When the CD came in a box. And,
no joke.
And so, and you got to go back to that, and you get to meet these people and say, wow, they got personal problems. They're human.
Yeah.
They're tired. They don't want to be up there sometimes, even though the crowd's into it. And it's just fun. It's a cool experience to see that other side of the music.
That flip side of the coin.
Yeah, because
everybody has a bad day now and then, and sometimes I know you've probably had not the best day, and all of a sudden you hit that one song, and all of a sudden you're out of your funk. It's like, okay, I'm all right.
Yeah, we would play Fiesta in San Antonio every year, and there was a huge crowd out there, and so this crowd was different. I wasn't playing for them to dance. They didn't want to dance. They wanted to drink and they wanted to party.
Yeah.
So when you go up there and you kick off into something that they love and they know, and we would do "Driving My Life Away," but not the Eddie Rabbitt version.
Yeah, Steve Earle.
No, Red Akins covered it for Black Dog the movie and had that dun, 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 and drop D in it. Yeah, I played in D, right? So, and it has a cool riff at the beginning, and then when you start with, because they don't recognize it's like a ding, 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 ding. And when you go into it and people just start going crazy, and mind you, we drove from here, went to San Antonio, set up, got up there, 2-hour gig, and it's nonstop just playing and, fighting through traffic just to get on stage. Nobody's escorting you in there.
Yeah. You got to find your way through the crowd. Like, hey, I'm in the band next gate. No, wait a minute.
Yeah. It's like, I'm the opener. Yeah, nobody cares. Go park. And so you get up there and that crowd hits it. And they're jamming and they're waving their beer at you and they're, just rocking. Their hands are up and they're just having fun. Yeah, I did it for that. That's the coolest thing I ever had. And Jackman was a part of all those shows.
Yeah, Mike was there.
We had fun, man. Those are good times.
Yeah, I was like, hey, man, where you? He goes, oh, I'm playing with Andrew this weekend. Where? San Antonio. Really? And we have this thing now. We call each other, hey, do you have a gig? No, I'm a loser. How about you? So I was like, I didn't have a gig. And he goes, loser. And I was like, yeah. So we all, and so we call it, you got a gig? No, loser.
Yeah. I haven't hit the stage in a while. I think the last gig we played was in Uvalde at a Hunters Expo, which was fun. But
I've been around.
I'll tell you what,
they get after it.
Those crowds up there are fun.
Yeah.
I love the Valley teaches you a lot.
Oh yeah.
Because like I said, you got to be disciplined, and and they don't want. Once you end that song, you better be ready to go to the next one.
That's we call it out like as we're halfway through. Hey, what's the next song in the rotation? And before you start, it's what are the first 3 songs we're going to do if we don't have a list. And like with Bottom Line, we don't have a list. It's like we'll do this. And sometimes I have a brain fart, and all of a sudden we go to somebody else, and I'll say, oh, we'll come back to this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's I try to go by set list where the guys know, like I'll do a little intro on my guitar, and then they know, all right, we're going to that one. So, and so because to me, if you're gonna do something more with your music, I don't have the time, and I'm nobody in Nashville is gonna want to see a 43-year-old dad of 3. Yeah, so but like for me, it was they teach you so much to go from you're gonna play this type of music back to back. And you better put on a show.
Yeah.
If not, you're not invited back.
Yeah.
And it's not play what you want; it's you play what they want.
Yeah, and that's sometimes it's a hard lesson because, man, I tell you what, there's some songs it's like I dread. I go, oh, hey, can you play a song for me? I'm like, oh, please not that one, please not that one. All of a sudden, oh, it's something else. Oh, thank you. Oh, God loves me today.
The only request that I love playing, because you'll always get, can you play Much Too Young to Fill This Demo?
Yeah.
Can you play, Looking for Love in all the wrong places?
Oh yeah.
In My Arms Instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are standards. And I'll tell you what, if I had a nickel for every time I play, if I had a dime for every time I had to play Neon Moon, which is still a great country song. It's just, I've played it, you've played it,
yep.
And it's a timeless song.
Yeah, but they'll pack a dance floor.
That is correct.
But there's one place, and the one guy will call it out, and he's the owner, and you got to play it. And he always says, and every time we'd play there, when I first started playing there, I was like, how many birthdays does this guy have? Was it like 1,001? Because he'd be like, hey, play for Ray's birthday. Right, all right. Rose-colored glasses.
Yep, John Conley. Yep.
Now, that song, when you go cut that song up and you listen to the lyrics and you say, oh, that's, besides it being the music, a great waltz to dance to, but when you cut those lyrics and you start looking at when they wrote that hurt. Yeah. That's just a fun song to play.
Yeah, and you start I was thinking about, Life the other day, and Gene Watson's "Paper Roses." That's a sad song.
Yeah,
but those are the best ones. But it's just
I was in the fields the other day, and my go-to is "If Drinking Don't Kill Me." Remember He Will.
Who's that by?
George Jones.
Oh,
yeah.
My latest George Jones one is "I've Had Choices." That one.
Yeah. Well, my personal life just goes flash through my head when I see that. When I hear that song,
and everybody's like snapping their finger, like, "Hey, you awake? Yeah, huh?
Yeah." Huh? But no, if Drinking Don't Kill Me, Her Memory Will. Man, it's such a
I'll tell you this. There's an artist now. He is a sight to see, and with the miracle or damnation we have now of social media, this guy, his name is Stephen Wilson Jr., and he's been out for a while, and they say he's country. He's kind of country and Americana. He plays a nylon string guitar. For those of you out there, that's like Willie Nelson's, I believe, Martin N1 called Trigger, named after Roy Rogers' horse. And he plays not a full step, like 2 steps down. So it's like in C. And he has a song, it's called A Year to Be Young. I'll send it to you after this.
Yeah.
And it's called 1994. And here's my youngest. I got to name her, and her name is Melody.
Nice.
Yeah,
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
And when she said, "Dad, I'm getting into guitar playing, and I'm into Nirvana," and all of a sudden, here's this song, and it goes, the first line is, "I must admit, I felt the flame, Kurt Cobain and a Fender Mustang," and I'm going, MTV brought me up. This is your brain on drugs, and that's the old anti-drug campaign on the commercials. And all of a sudden, and the chorus goes, "My life was a stereo, and it was everything. First one in line for the last dance with Mary Jane." That's a Tom Petty reference. He goes, "Mary Jane, hiding in my headphones, lying on my bedroom floor, 1994. I was a junior in high school.
Wow.
It's like, I remember that. And shout out to my buddy, John McClain, not Nakatomi Plaza, but the drummer. When Cobain was in a coma, that weekend, it was, John stayed over. He brought a Super Nintendo. We're playing, Madden football. And I had my 12-string guitar, and we're sitting out on the front porch, and we're talking about music like we are now. And it's like, this, Nirvana's at the top of their game, and now their frontman's in a coma. And, you had Hendrix who died, like 20-something years before. And, like, how many more people do we have to lose? And John goes, "It's not going to stop." He goes, life is going to happen to people. It's not going to stop. He says, but at least we can, and we didn't know he was going to die. Like, when he came out of the coma, we didn't know he was going to die, and but it's like, we need to enjoy.
Nobody predicted that one.
Yeah. It's like, but we gotta enjoy the people while they're here. And if they leave behind that music, and he was really philosophical. And then of course he cracked some sarcastic, horrible, dark humor joke, because that's John. But in that message, I just remember he goes, hey, this is what we have to deal with. And as a junior in high school, I'm like, wow, John's grown up a little bit. Well, okay. I don't know which one of us has grown up more, me or him, but we're still musicians, so I don't want to grow up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's just that Steven Wilson, 1994, it being in the fields, it hit me hard.
Yeah, I can see.
Just hearing this song, and he's got a song called Patches. So it's like he's my I hate to say new favorite, but it's like yeah. So, and he does the. He does. What's cool is the intro and outro lick he does for the song 1994 in this version. He does the main riff for it's Nirvana. All Apologies.
Oh,
so
yes.
So you get that taste of it in the beginning. You hear the song, and at the end he kicks that, and it's like whoa,
wow,
yeah. And for me, it's like wow, yeah. So music is a beautiful thing, and I'm glad you're playing it.
Yeah,
I'm going to do it till I die.
Me, I don't gig as much because of my work schedule as I'd love to.
But playing music.
But playing music, I play it every day. And
I'm not stopping.
Like my oldest daughter plays piano, trumpet, saxophone.
My God, she's already talented with playing piano,
and she can read music. I can't.
I can't either.
And but she had my mom. She grew up with my mom, and my mom taught her all that stuff. So there's always, to the point where my 6-year-old will tell you, all right, I'm going to give you some lyrics, and then you're going to guess the song. And we do that. That's our road trip game. And it's
nice.
My son will sing you 21 Days the whole way through. And his mom's favorite song is 2 Dozen Roses. And
Shenandoah.
Yeah.
Yes.
On my social media, he's 6, right? No care in the world, jumps on. He has his little guitar on, gets a mic, and he's singing it word for word with me, along with a live band. No hesitation, no nothing. So, I'll keep playing it, till I die, man. It's my dad. I have, I'd say, about 8 or 9 guitars that my dad bought them all.
That's it? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well,
that's it.
I had to tell him, like, hey,
stop.
I'm running out of room, and stop, because my dad. My dad was a trooper. My dad was always gone. My dad was very busy growing up, and he's putting my mom through school. And of course, when you're a young guy or a young kid, you don't realize, you think dad's just hard on you, And I am who I am because my dad was the way he was with me. But now, music, when I became a cop, I was like, he's gonna love it. It's like, why are you doing that? I'll pay for your college education. Go do that. You won't have a dime to pay.
Yep.
Just go I didn't do that. Go get a college education. No, won't become a cop. Okay, son, be careful. Be safe out there. Don't do anything. His only advice as a police officer was, as long as it's not illegal, you do what your bosses tell you to do and shut up. That was it. It's like, anything else? No. First time I played on stage, since then, every birthday was a guitar. Everything. He was my roadie at every gig. He was there he gets called up one time because he can't sing at all. But and that was his moment where that was our time. And so that alone, music brought me closer to my dad, where we communicated on a different level, where that dude's my best friend now. And like I told him one time, we're at a show, and his best friend came down from Fort Worth, and hadn't seen the guy in a long time. And he's like, "Yeah, you and your dad are close now." I was like, if there was ever a day, and the day will come, like I said, life goes on, life moves on. If there was ever a day I have to go play a show, and I got to look out at a crowd, and my dad's not there because he's gone, not in this world. That's when I may second guess it, unless my kids are doing it. Because he's been such an influence and such a fan, and they say, hey, do you have fans? No, I'm a dad, You know, my kids they love going and they'll have fun, but I'm the ATM. But the one true fan I had was my dad, or is my dad. And where he just like, why are we playing? Why are we going to another show? When are we? And, you know, if I had too many adult beverages that night on stage, he's the one to carry me home. Yeah. And he's the one to carry the guitars inside. So it's music. Just people don't realize it's therapeutic. It really puts you in a place, even if you're not playing it and just listening to it.
Yeah.
You know, and any genre to me, I listen to everything.
Yeah, me too. I listen to synthwave.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah, it's the stuff I love it. Well, it's great.
Don't hurt yourself. I've been to a One Direction concert back in the day, so.
Oh, we're gonna do that now. Hold on. Hold on. Where have I been? No, that's no.
You can admit your NSYNC love to me. It's okay.
No. I will say this. My youngest, Melody, I told her, I said, look, I know you're 14 and a half, which hurt to say, because, we think about them so small. And I gifted her with a Fender Mustang.
Wow.
Yeah, little Squire one. Competition orange. She was surprised. She looked for Christmas.
Man, hot rod.
Oh, yeah. Squire Vibe 60s. Yeah. Hey, the Squire stuff by Fender is good stuff.
Yeah.
But when she saw that, she just looked at me and I went, that's what Cobain used to play. She goes, I know.
Yeah.
When she said, I know, I was like, so, I told her, I said, there's going to be some days when not a lot of things are going to make sense, but that'll be your six-stringed psychiatrist. So I said, you can tell your problems to it. You can tell your problems through it.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, and with my oldest, Casey, she's 17, and
ouch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I tell her all the time, is that you taught me how to be a dad.
Yeah.
Before I was just a cop and I did whatever I wanted to do, get off of work and go to bed and sleep and then get up, go to work. And then you taught me what sacrifice was. So when I see her going into music and I think she wants to be a physical therapist or something like that, but
kind of music, what instrument's that?
Yeah, I know, right? Her passion though, like she'll sit on a piano and just play. And she'll get a trumpet. And
That's awesome.
I'm like, man, you're so talented. Like, I can't do that. I can play guitar. I can't read music. I can't do that. And to her, it's nothing. She's so reserved and humble about it, and she's kind of gets embarrassed. And then my little Allie, who's going on 15 this Saturday, that ball of fire will come in and just start singing it. She can't play a lick of music. She'll sing it, though, and she'll sing every lyric, and she'll have fun with it. And then my 6-year-old comes and says, Dad, get your guitar. Let's play. Let's sing a song. And we used to do another one called Must Be the Whiskey, Cody Jinks, right? And he knew every word. And he was like 3 or 4 jumping on stage. Just sharing that with them. And they would go to gigs. And, when I played here at the stock show and they came and they were here and just them seeing what that did for my family. And when we all are just singing and all playing a musical trivia song, just game that we made up. You can't put a price on that, and that music does that for you. It does that for people, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, when the kids are small, we wonder, they're making noises, they're babbling, and all of a sudden they start talking. And I imagine my kids. I go, I know I'm talkative. I know I yammer on, but it's like, what are my kids? What are they going to talk about? And what kind of conversation am I going to have with them? And then it dawned on me, music. When they get into music, what are they going to listen to? And some of the music nowadays, I don't understand it. I can't relate to it. I don't know if it's because of my age or what, but all of a sudden things are circular. Mm-hmm. And I'm riding around with the kids and they go, oh, Dad, can we play our music? I'm like, as long as it doesn't suck, then okay. And all of a sudden, my 16-year-old, and this is like a year or so ago, she puts on a song, and I'm going, oh, I was like, that's The Cure. And she goes, the what? I was like, that's The Cure. And she goes, no. And I'm going, okay, it's the Smiths? And she goes, no. And I start naming all these alt-rock bands, and I'm like, who is that? She goes, it's a band called Yacht Club, Y-O-T, and it's a song called Japan. It goes, it's like a surf beat. I'm going, and I'm going, this is 80s. And Dad, this song is like new. And I'm just mind blown. And I went, you like that? And they go, yeah. And I went, Oh, thank God, things are coming back.
No, I opened up for Spasmatics last year.
Oh my God, those guys, dude,
They rock. They rock.
That's
Those guys are cool.
yeah, this timeless music. For those of you Spasmatics, it's an '80s tribute band. I mean, they dress up like Revenge of the Nerds, and they nail it
Yes, they hit.
in both costume and music.
Well, yes.
The entertainment factor is awesome. Are they going to be back here at the stock show
Yes,
this year?
they're going to be back.
Yes.
And they bring in a great crowd, and they have such a great show, you know, that, and I asked the lead singer, I said, how do you go from Bon Jovi, you know, to, and they were like doing Blink 182
Yeah.
and then Guns N' Roses and Queen. I'm like, you know, get me in a G chord and I'm going to stay in that, you
Yeah.
know? He's like, it's just training, man. You got to just train your voice. I was like, wow, because you literally go from all genres in that show. So when I opened up for him last year in FAR, and the girls were there, they went with that show, and they knew every word. Your sweet dreams. I'm like,
Yeah, the Eurythmics.
what? How do
I
you
remember
know
when
that?
that came out on an MTV, man.
So-
Annie Lennox with orange hair. Yep.
And so then when we had Bohemian Queen was the.
The Queen tribute band. Yeah.
Did you see them?
I believe I was here for that. I believe I was here. I went with the tribute band I play with. We went and saw Killer Queen at Payne Arena in Hidalgo. But yeah, they had y'all had Bohemian. Yeah, I was here for that. Yeah.
And so, man, and my oldest daughter knew every Queen song. I'm like, I think I wasn't even born. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, my kids. I mean, bicycle. They love that stuff.
Yeah. And I was like amazed that, wow, it's coming back. That 80s, 90s movement is already back.
Well, here at the stock show, I noticed that the wraparound ski type shades are back, and a couple of years ago, the mullet is back.
Oh, yes.
And bell bottoms are back, thank God. But
bell bottoms are back.
But the mullet haircut is back, and I'm going, the mullet is here, bell bottoms are here,
Yeah.
those wraparound shades, but Pontiac and Burt Reynolds is gone. It's like there's no Trans Am. It's like
Yes.
that's the one thing we're missing.
You know, you ever wonder if Billy Ray Cyrus is just crying in a corner somewhere because he was the only
Dude.
guy with a mullet at the time?
Yeah, and he started it. He was
Yeah.
the progenitor. There
Yes, he made the mullet, and followed by Joe Dirt. So
we go. Joe Diffie.
and Joe. Oh yeah.
Was that Jason?
All right.
Joe Diffie.
Yeah. R.I.P.
The late great. Yep.
Yes, man. COVID. Oh, hate you. But you know, they it's neat seeing all that stuff come back. Of course, I can't grow a mullet, but
I can't either.
yeah, it's either mullet or a beard, and I chose beard.
In time, I'm going to be doing the Terry Bradshaw thing when it comes to my hair. So
Oh, yeah.
I've just resigned myself to it.
I'm feeling it on the back part, so it's part of the 40s. So it's just one of those things that it's cool to see. I guess because like I didn't get to see it growing up.
Yeah.
Well, I did in the 80s, the 90s stuff, but like the stuff that's coming out now and the music that they listen to, that my kids are listening to. And of course, they don't have to hunt for a CD or a record. They have it at their palm of their hands, which is neat. You know, because now any song they want to hear, they can just flip up their phone and find it. And to get exposed to that goes just full circle. Or wow, I jammed out to that.
I was thinking the other day, I'm sitting there, and I thought back to my childhood growing up here in the Valley, and one of our annual treks was to Harlingen every year in October for the CAF Air Show.
Huh?
My grandfather was a bomber pilot in World War II. They had the kind of airplane he flew there, and of course they had the loudspeakers going, so you're hearing the music of that time. Well, in the early to mid 80s, 40 years prior, of course, was Glenn Miller. You know, so you're thinking In the Mood, and then you have Little Brown Jug, da 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 da, and it's all this big band orchestra stuff. There I am the other day, cruising through YouTube, and there's the US Festival of 1983, and I'm watching Triumph,
Wow.
which is the trio out of Canada. You know, Never Surrender. You know, and I'm going, wait a minute, I was a kid on the flight line in Harlingen, and Glenn Miller was like the old people music. That was 40 years prior. I'm watching a concert from 83.
Yeah.
I was 6 years old at the time, and I'm watching Triumph. And all of a sudden, I'm doing the mental gymnastics and math in my head, and I'm going, wow, that's 40 years ago?
Yeah. What's that meme where if Michael J. Fox went back now, it'd be 1993?
I saw that yesterday.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm just going,
what? No, it's not.
I don't like this.
I was like, great Scott.
The DeLorean needs to be coming back.
Yeah.
Well, actually, DeLorean of Houston. To talk once again, Payne Auto Talk, talking about automobiles. There's a DeLorean of Houston, so if you want to go get some DeLorean parts, you can probably build one. Mr. Fusion not included.
Yes,
So.
yeah.
But I know you got to get back to work here. I keep looking at the clock, and we could go all day with this.
All day,
yeah, all day, all night, and on stage, off stage, neon.
Yeah.
All we need is some more time and some refreshments, and and a bucket of ice.
Time. I have to do this again one day.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get that song out to you. 21 Days on the Road by Cory Morrow. Here's that tribute song right now. Well, Andrew, we don't own the rights to this song, but Mr. Cory Morrow sure does. I'm going to Carolina, taking that hard, rough road. I'm gonna circle the river of Jordan, 'cause I just wanna see where it flows. 21 days on the road, wondering where we're gonna go from here. 21 days on the road. I'd go home, but my home's right here. I'm waking up on the sidewalk, next to some place I've never seen. Well, I hope the people come to see us, and I hope they fall in love with me. Yeah, yeah. 21 days on the road, wondering where we're gonna go from here. 21 days on the road. I'd go home, but my home's right here. There's lightning up on the horizon. The Lord is speaking loud and clear tonight. And I'm thinking about a girl in Selma. She wants me back in Texas by tonight. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 21 days on the road, wondering where we're gonna go from here. 21 days on the road. I'd go home, but my home's right here. 21 days on the road, wondering where we're gonna go from here. 21 days on the road. I'd go home, but my home's right here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another edition of Payne Auto Talk. Now, in the year of 2024, I am here at the Rio Grande Valley Livestock Showgrounds with Mr. Andrew Maldonado. And what you have there's three huge words. That is your title. What is it? Events
Program Coordinator.
Events Program Coordinator. Man. All right. Well, Andrew, thank you very much for joining us today and sharing all of that. Once again, January 13th coming up is Monster Truck Wars here at the Payne Auto Group Rodeo Arena. 2 shows?
Yes, 2 shows.
2 shows.
First show starts at 1 o'clock, and then the second show is at 6 o'clock.
All right, family fun, a bunch of motor-headed mayhem, and also coming up February
9th and 10th.
9th and 10th is
Smokin on the Rio.
Oh, baby.
Come catch a good show, too. Randy Rogers, La Mafia. They got some great music lined up. Just a quick reminder for the monster trucks, there are still tickets available at their website. Mm-hmm. And just head over there and come on down to the stock show and have a great time.
Yeah, they're not available here, but they're available on the website.
On the website, and they will be selling them at the gate.
At the gate, okay. But they can also go on Facebook and check out RGVLS. That's your at RGVLS. Takes you right to the Rio Grande Valley Livestock Showgrounds Facebook page, and they have all the information there too.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, in closing, what you got?
Well, just make sure, like I said, this year we're celebrating our 85th livestock show and rodeo, so make sure to come on out. And thank you guys. Thank you, Payne, for all you do for the stock show as well. You guys are great contributors to our show. So thank you, and thanks for having me on.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right here. We got 85 years of the stock show. Also, the lifetimes and tributes and tunes of Mr. Andrew Maldonado. And also, shout out once again to our friends in law enforcement, municipal, county, state, and federal. Also, a little special shout out to Raymondville PD. Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew. This has been Payne Auto Talk. I am your host, Chris Marshall, brought to you by Payne Auto Group Valley-wide. PayneAutoGroup.com, where we have where you want. Lo que tú quieres, regardless, and we are gone.